Hello, your amazing friends. Edward's here with Steph Gobraiel. How are you today, Steph?
I'm good. How are you, Ed?
Well, I couldn't, because it's raining today, I couldn't find my normal locations to see the level of saturation behind me, Steph.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
had to get
busy
out this
hiding under
morning.
a bit of cover. There we go.
I had to go out this morning, Ed, and it was like water coming up the side of the car and like above the car. That's how big the puddles were. It was scary.
Oh, no. Now, Steph, we had a great chat before, and I thought we'd do a quick live stream to our fans across the world. And we're talking about where has the year gone, and we're already getting a lot of feedback from people. Some people are feeling like, where has the year gone? It's all happening. I'm not achieving the results that I want, and it stimulated this live stream. Now, Steph, tell us your thoughts on where the year has gone, and to those that haven't got their results yet, what you're thinking is to them.
Okay, so I personally feel, Ed, like Christmas was a year ago. I think so much has happened between now and Christmas. And to think that Easter is like literally around the corner, it's just going to come around so quick. Time does fly. It doesn't wait for anyone. And I think it's a good time. And this is why I put a post up yesterday. You know, we're already halfway through Q1 for the year. It's a good time to review how your goals are going. And if you don't have goals, start setting some goals. And then it's just a good structured way to know where you're at in the year and how you're traveling with your business as well.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think now's a great time. If your business isn't going the way that you want for 2024, don't wait till the end of 2024. Now's the time to change things. And it's funny, actually, because when I started, I actually made a bit of a change to my sales strategy. I realised for me to win big the way I want this year, here's the jackhammering. They got this new slide over there, and you stand there and it's quiet, then all of a sudden they start jackhammering. You know, it's like, you don't reckon they did. They waited till I started live streaming, then they went, you know how they go, right? You know how they go. But seriously, I think a lot of people, some people are winning, but a lot of people aren't winning yet. So to those that haven't got the results they want yet, what do you say to them to turn things around?
Keep going, like get some goals in place, get that structure. That's what goals does. It structures what you need to do in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And go from there, and if you need to speak to someone, jump on a call with me or Ed or whoever it needs to be. And just get that sounding board, that feedback and, everything else that you need in order to get started. And I think that's the biggest thing, Ed. Just get started, and then if you can review goals weekly and break them down, you're not going to go, oh, yeah, I've got those to do as well in Q1. So, front and center, that's where you got to have them.
Yeah, it's funny. The biggest thing when I started the year, I realised for me to have the year I want in my business, I need to actually reach out to more people than I spoke to last year. So towards the end of last year, I started reaching out to a lot of people. I realised, hang on, for this year to be what I want to be, I realised probably about halfway through January, no, I need to speak to a lot more people to get the business to where I want to be. And it's funny, I'm not the only one who has that solution, because I bet you for about probably at least 70% of people watching, if they just spoke to more people about their business, they'd be way better off. What do you think of that viewpoint?
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's different ways of doing it as well, Ed. You could be networking, you could be reaching out to people. There's different ways to be connecting with people. And I think, that's the bottom line. We've got to be connecting and talking to people.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, with your business, what are some of the changes you've already made this year? What are you, like for me, it's actually speaking to more people every day. That's really my key focus for the year is I got the business model right. I've got the events and all that. For me, it's speaking to more people day in and day out. What is it for you? What's your big mandate / change for the year?
It's a few things, Ed. It's introducing my membership as I have. That's one thing. So that's a different direction. Another thing is going to be introducing a team manager / operation service, because I do that at the moment. So it may as well become a service because it's quite popular with small businesses. So there's a few things at play, and I've just introduced my productivity planning digital product. So I think it's diversifying what I do is I think one of my main focuses for 2024.
So in other words, so you, in your case, you've had previously more just one type of service, and now you're offering different ranges of services. Is that pretty much it, what you're doing?
Yes. So it's not just it's more the format. So last year and before that, it was all one-to-one. Now, you know, in a membership, it's one-to-many sort of thing. And I've got digital products that are going to be, you know, extremely cheap for people to buy and use and ponder on. So, yeah, it's just different formats and structure.
Yeah, I'm with you, actually, because it's interesting. Because in my case, I've already got the business and community there. For me, it's more of a conversion, sign more people up, get people to my events game. So I was having this chat with Lassie. For me, it's not so much, do I need to do anything new? I don't think so, no. Do I need to do more of what I'm doing? Absolutely. So it's funny, actually. I suppose it's different phases. So I remember about 2 years ago, I think I was more like you in that, hang on, the business model isn't right. I need to tweak this pricing. I need to do this and I need to do that. So it's interesting. I suppose the key point is that both you and I are acutely aware of where we're at and what our problems are and what our opportunities are. And I suppose my question to you then is, for a lot of those that are listening, for those who aren't completely clear on what the actual problem is, yes, they need to speak to us, but what do you say to those people to help them start thinking about where they're at and what their issues are?
Okay, I'd say maybe take an hour out of your week, sit down, write down what you're doing, what you're not doing, and what's been in your mind, right? Because we always have thoughts in our minds about our business. And, you know, if you're shelving whatever is in your mind, why are you shelving it, right? Is it time? Is it not a priority? What is it? Is it the fear? What is it that's sort of stopping you from pursuing that if that's the direction you want to go in?
Very, very nice. I like it. And I know, interesting. I actually spoke to one of our wonderful friends today, obviously protecting their identity, and they're an amazing person, but they're the sort of person, they start something, and once they have a knock, once they hit a bit of negativity, they stop selling. In other words, I used to be a bit like it, so I totally empathize with the person. That is, they're brilliant, very proactive. But the moment they get some negativity, they just stop and they can't work anymore, right? They sort of enter that negative sort of pity cycle. I used to be like that, so I totally empathize with it. To those people who get knocked around easily and lose their mojo, how do you keep your mojo going in these difficult times?
Well, we all get knocked around in some shape or form. And I think, Ed, you know, this is a bit of tough love now. You know, have your pity party, but then stop, right? Give it a certain amount of time, have it, wallow, do what you need to do, but then move on, right? Take the lesson. I think once the emotions settle, you've got to then start thinking logically again and think, right, what was this trying to teach me? And this is how we build resilience, right, Ed?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I think one of the big, I found a seat. I actually found a seat without someone jackhammering, so I'm very excited. So I had it all planned out. It was raining. I had a place to start my Zoom, my live stream. Then, of course, someone started jackhammering. So you know the deal, right? That's an interesting one. I think you're absolutely fascinating and on point, because one of the biggest problems I see is people losing their mojo all the time. They get started, they're all happy, they have a bad day, they stop. And you know what one of my big suggestions are, and I know you agree with this one. Do you know what that big suggestion is?
I don't know. You tell me, Ed.
That's when you need to hire a coach like you, because the whole point of having a coach is someone external to help keep you motivated during those difficult times. Tell us more about that viewpoint, Steph.
Yeah, I think it always helps to have someone, you know, that can, you know, guide you, or just be that, you know, outside of your business. So it's going to be really, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be a neutral perspective, right? It's not going to be subjective, right? It's going to be objective, right? So I think by having someone there in your corner, you can move into the phases that you want to move into a lot faster. and that's what we do together as well, Ed. So look, I was afraid of, I'll say this live on LinkedIn, I was afraid of starting my own networking event for whatever reason, right? And the universe pushed me to do it, right?
Can I just jump in there, right?
Sure.
And again, not criticizing you, I used to feel the same way, so I'm just sharing the same feelings that I had. I mean, you knew on paper you had to do a business networking event under your own brand, and you kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. And I've been there too. Can I ask you, what were you afraid about? And please be honest with us. What was stopping you? Like, what was the number one reason? Were you afraid of failing? Were you nervous? What was the reason? And it's okay. We'd love to know.
I didn't think I can do it, Ed. Okay. But I'm in a very different position of where I was February 2023.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So just on that note, so you believed at the time you weren't capable of delivering. So even though I believed, because I thought you could have done it 2 years ago. So my view of you was 2 years ago you could have done it like that. Well, not like that, but 2 years ago you could have pulled it off. But you're saying that you felt you would have failed, you weren't able to do it. Is that a fair take?
Yeah, and I think it's the fear of doing something new, as I'm sure everyone can relate to, the unknown, right? That's the word I'm looking for, the unknown. And I think that was what was stopping me. But then I stopped and looked around, and the universe went, right, go, do it. So I'm like, let's do it. If the universe is telling me to do it, we're doing it.
And it was quite funny. And obviously I'm trying to protect details here because there's obviously, some hot feelings out there. But I remember we were talking that morning and I was basically berating you saying, what the hell, Steph, do your own thing. Who cares? Right. And you were like, nah, screw you, Ed. Leave me alone, Ed, you loser. What do you know, Ed? Just kidding. And then what, 5 p.m. I got the call. Ed, my networking group's shutting down. I think you were correct. Right. So it was a funny day. Wasn't it a funny day in how things swung?
Yeah. And, I said to myself, you know what, let's do it and see what happens, right? At least I'm trying. And I think that's the biggest lesson here. You've got to try. You're not going to know if you're going to succeed or fail at something unless you try. So that's what we're doing. So if you're in Sydney on the 3rd of April, come along to Eden Gardens in Macquarie Park. It's going to be in brunch. There's heaps of parking. And we would love to have you there. I have about 12 people RSVP'd already, Ed. Okay. And that's not including you because you have not RSVP'd on me.
Oh, that's awful. What a failure. Right? And what day of the week is that?
Oh, sorry, Wednesday. So it's a Wednesday morning at 11:30. You've got ample notice, right? I'm giving you over a month's notice. I'd love to see you there. So if you're in Sydney or stopping off in Sydney, please come along and say hello, have some lunch, we'll connect. And, it's something that's really needed in the area as well, Ed. So there's no networking event in my area at like a decent time because I'm a mum, right? So I can't go early. Going late can be hard sometimes. So I'm like, you know what? Let's meet in the middle and do a brunch. So here we are.
Yeah. And just so you know, for those who are around the world in Australia, so where it actually is in, so Eden Gardens is based in Ryde, as in the city of Ryde, which you would say is kind of north. It's in a city. It's still within 10 kilometres of Sydney CBD. It's just actually next door to where I live. In fact, my brain's not working. It would be like, almost a little bit northwest of Sydney CBD, but within 10 kilometres. So still within the city, technically speaking.
Yeah. And look, it's the gateway. It's North Ryde. So it's the gateway to, the northern beaches, the west, and coming from inner Sydney. So it's a pretty prime location to have it. And it's a beautiful venue. I've hosted events there before. Absolutely love it.
There we go. And I've said all along, and I can say this now. I know their corpse is still warm, and I should be careful about what I say, but I just don't care anymore. But I've said to you, haven't I said to you for a long time, you should ditch those guys and do your own thing? Haven't I said that to you for a long time?
You have said to me I should be doing my own thing, and I think. But look, let's put this in perspective for a second. In 2023, I only started hosting events. Okay, I only really started doing speaking. So I really built up to this point. We haven't gone from 0 to 100, right? And I think it's important for people to know that it's the small steps that you take that will build that confidence, and then you'll be able to do the next thing and the next thing and then get to where you're going. So it's the baby steps we take.
Yeah, and I think that's a brilliant answer, and that was the answer I was digging for, because in that, and you're honest, like a year ago, you didn't feel like you were ready, and that's completely, like, regardless of whatever I think, that's fine, but you didn't feel ready, but you did all the baby steps, and now a year later, you're confidently going into it and you don't care, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's connect. Let's, collaborate. Let's get people from the surrounding suburbs and anyone else that wants to attend. Why not? We're there to network and do what we need to do for business. And at the same time, we're having lunch. So why not, right?
Oh, there we go. So that's really good. So, Steph, love your work, my friend. And just in closing, as we've crossed the beautiful 15-minute barrier, if you are watching, please like, share and comment. Love having you with us. It's funny, one thing about doing StreamYards on your phone is you always got to reject calls as they come in. So there you go. What's funny with StreamYard on a phone is you can't go into airplane mode to stop the calls because you lose your internet. So you got to have your finger ready on the reject key. It was kind of funny. So, Steph, in closing, to those people that have started their year, they're not getting the results yet. Yes, they need to speak to you and me and all that. In addition, what do you say to them to turn their year around nice and early and get what they want?
Take baby steps. You don't need to go from 0 to 100. It's not going to happen. And let go of perfectionism, right? Just start. And I think, when you see that progress, you're going to get excited, you're going to get motivated, and then you're going to push on with it. So I think, being in the middle of February already, I think this is a good wake-up call to really say, have you started your goals? Do you know what your goals are? Have you just parked them? What do you want to achieve? And what steps are you going to take to get there?
I'm with you. And again, I echo your sentiments. And to those watching, like, share, comment, say hello. If you've got a problem, if things aren't working out, now is the time to make your big changes. Don't wait till the end of the year to realize you messed up. Do it now. Now, there's nothing wrong with changing. Changing something that isn't working is called being intelligent.
Exactly. And aware, right, Ed? It's being aware of, what you're doing and what you're not doing. And I think people know deep down, Ed, what they need to do. It's whether, they know how to take that action on it as well.
It's funny you say that. The thing in my business, the business that we run, for me, it's all about, like, in addition to all the other stuff I do, for me, it's reaching out to as many people as I can every day. The moment I back off on that is when everything just slows down. So I'm totally with you, Steph.
Brilliant.
Pleasure. Steph, thank you so much. And thank you to our wonderful fans. Steph, love your work, my friend. Appreciate you big time.
See you soon.
Stay awesome, everyone. Bye.